What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rizq Podcast. Today we've got a super special podcast with a former two-time world heavyweight champion Hasim Rahman and his younger brother and protege Muhsin Cason. This episode we go really deep into their lives, especially Hasim's upbringing in a very rough neighborhood of Baltimore, growing up in gang culture, going to jail, and ending up in a boxing gym where he became a pro very early on and within a short space of time became the world heavyweight champion. This is someone who's been at the very peak of their industry, their sport, their business, their job, whatever you want to call it. He was the cream of the crop, and this episode goes really deep into his mind and how he thinks of life, and it's a big telltale sign as to why he became a champion. We also speak to Muhsin Cason as a new upcoming fighter with a perfect 6-0 record. He's a silent killer, and I'm really looking forward to getting your feedback. Guys, make sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this podcast. Let me know if there's anybody else that you want me to invite onto the podcast and who you'd want to see, and I'll see what I can do to make it happen. But there's a bit of an elephant in the room right now, which is my head, and it's because I'm actually in Umrah, alhamdulillah. So I filmed the podcast yesterday in Riyadh just before I flew out, and it was a total surprise to both of us. Neither one of us knew we were doing it, and then a mutual friend of ours, Fa'al Raja, big shout out to him, who hooked it up for both of us to get it done. So anyway, guys, I'm not going to take up more of your time. Enjoy the podcast.
She love me. As she should.
Alright, cool, let's get started. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very special episode of the Rizq Podcast. As you can see, I'm being dwarfed, which isn't usually what happens, but that's what happens when you sit in between two boxing legends. You've got Hasim Rahman on my left and Muhsin Rahman on my right. Muhsin Cason on my right. And guys, I think this is just a really special episode because Hasim Rahman, who's sitting on my left, as you may or may not know, is a former two-time world heavyweight champion, and it's just a real honor and privilege to be sat here next to you today. So
Appreciate you.
So I wanted to really kind of get started on this podcast, and the way that we do things is we kind of go from past into present into the future. So I want to start with your story up until where we are today, and then I want to understand where you are today and what your future is for the vision. What your vision is for the future. And I think both of you are at different levels of your career. You know, you've gone through it and you're at the start. So, you know, this is going to be a really interesting episode today, guys. So I wanted to start off today. If I start off with Hasim on my left. So you were born 1972.
1972. Old man.
Were you Muslim, born Muslim?
Yes.
Your family Muslim?
Yes.
MashaAllah, okay. So where I want to begin is your journey. So where were you born?
Baltimore, Maryland.
And what was, I mean, I know Baltimore through, I think it was, what's that show?
The Wire.
The Wire. That's what I know Baltimore.
Yeah, they all my friends.
So what was it like growing up for you? So as a kid, say for example, when you're like 5 or 6 years old, what's life like in Baltimore? Because from what I understand, kids in those type of environments have to grow up very quickly. So what's the situation for you at this point?
Oh, at 5, 6 years old, I was living in the projects. My role models were the bad guys. They were the guys that I looked up to. They were the guys who had all the money, had the nice cars, and they was who, like, I wanted to be like those guys because they had all the women, just everything that I thought I wanted in life, they had. So for me, I aspired to be like them because my mom was struggling, and when I wanted something, she may or may not have had the money, but I can go out to the bigger guys in the neighborhood, and they had the money. They would buy things for me. So I thought that's what I wanted to be.
Right, okay. So you're basically looking at the people who are in front of you. They've got the money, they've got the cars, they've got the power, they've got the status. And why would you not want to aspire to that? But your role models were only doing it in an illegal manner.
Right.
So you're only your only understanding on life and your education of life is, if I want to get to that position, I need to do what they're doing. Would you say that that's accurate?
I knew it was other ways to do it, but it would take much
okay.
longer. You know, like, okay, well, if you do this, and you got to go to school for this many years, and then you can do this and you can do that. You can make it, or you can get this right off the break. You know, you can make what the doctors and lawyers making in a year, in a week.
Yeah.
So.
Just turn this off, sorry. Apologies for this. So you're looking at these guys and you're looking at the two paths, and you see one path which is long.
Right.
You're having to probably, address someone every morning, your boss, what should I do, where to go, allow these many days off, and you see this life, and it's like, hey, I can get to where I want to get to very, very quickly. So the glamour of that life is what kind of attracted you to it.
Yeah, it was too alluring for me to just pass up.
So as you're growing up then, you're getting involved in these gangs, and would you call it a gang? Because obviously nowadays...
That's appropriate.
Yeah.
That's what more people can relate to.
Yeah.
So,
would you consider it more like a family? Like, these people are my family, like they're looking after me. Is that how they bring you into it?
That's the attraction. They want to bring it to you, bring that to you, like, well, we'll do for you what your mom won't do for you. Like, I can give you this, I can do this.
Right.
We got your back. And what made me believe that is when I would see certain guys come home from prison, and they would just, everybody be giving them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'll see a guy, he come home, by the end of the day, he might have $50,000 in his pocket. So I'm like, wow, they're getting rewarded for coming home from prison?
Yeah.
Like, who needs to look for a job? Like, why would you need to look for a job? You got you go around about 6 different neighborhoods, everybody giving you money, because they know, you're going to get money and you're going to be able to return the favor. So I'm looking at it like, this is family.
Yeah.
Nobody, 50,000 just for making a few appearances.
Yeah.
I thought it was like absurd.
Yeah.
But it was real. Like, I was a kid and it was real impressionable. So it was like, wow, this got to me.
I think one of the lines I want to go down towards is, obviously a lot of people that will be watching this, they'll probably also be, not all, not a lot, but actually a few will be part of gangs, few will be pushing drugs, few will be doing X, Y, and Z. If you could go back to who you were back in those days, and I appreciate that the environment was very different, but would you have done it differently, or would you have still done it because that was the only option really at the time?
I 100% would have done it differently. 100%. I'm gonna just tell you this: all the tough guys, all the who I thought was bosses. One thing about being a boss, when you take that route, you go to prison, you're not a boss. You got to listen to when they tell you what to eat, when to eat, when to go to the bathroom. And if you want to go see one of your relatives, you got to be strip searched. Like, you got to demean yourself every time you want to see one of your loved ones. How are you a boss? It's so embarrassing. It's so despicable going to prison. You humiliate yourself every day. Every day, because you just at their beck and call, whatever they want you to do. Now, you the same guy on the street that you a boss, you a killer, you do these things. Nobody talk to you like that, but you go in there and that warden tell you, sit down in that cell, in this little teeny cell. Matter of fact, you stay in there all week. You get punished like a child. You get treated like a child. But yet, you the same boss. It's like an oxymoron. It don't work. So,
So it's interesting what you're saying though, because you got, like I said, the one route which is a lot longer, like you were saying, the doctors, and then you got this route which is quicker. So it's almost like if you go to it too quickly, then the opposite is what's waiting for you, which is could be a boss really quickly, but then you could be someone's, for want of a better term, someone's bitch in the prison straight after that. Whereas, on this side, it's longer, but at least there's not that risk, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But the thing about it, what's misleading is these guys come home from prison, they get showered with gifts, and then they talk about it. They talk about it as if it's an okay thing. It's not okay, and that's the thing. People don't come home and tell a real story. Like, you got to take your clothes off. Let me check you. Bend down, squat, cough, do these things. Nobody come home and tell those stories. Tell how embarrassing it is when you got to get searched and you got to get strip searched for every visit. Like, who wants to live their life like that if you're a man? If you're an adult. That's just no way to live your life. And people don't come home and tell that. They tell how much fun they had. They come home and glorify being in prison. So then that would make a young, impressionable teenager or a kid make it think it's not that bad.
Exactly.
But that's not. Any youngsters viewing this podcast, no, that's definitely not the route. It's better to just take a little longer, study, do your thing, do it the right way, 100%.
It's actually very profound what you're saying, because you're right. Whenever I've spoken to anybody who's gone to prison, they don't want to talk about it.
No, they never.
But they still act as though they're some sort of guy when they come out.
Right.
They don't say like what you've said. They say, "Oh, I was a bad man in jail."
I was tough. I was this. I was that. I had all the commissary. I had everything. I was living like a king in it. You can't live like a man when you being told you actually treated like a child. You told when to watch TV, when to shower, when to eat, what to eat, how to eat. If you want to see somebody, let me approve who you can see. Let me approve this. Let me approve it. You get treated less than a child.
That's crazy.
So all your manhood is stripped. And if you want your manhood stripped, then you do the wrong things. They got somewhere for you.
How old are you, Muhsin?
26.
You're 26. So you were born, what, like 92, 93? 93. So there's a 21-year gap between the two of you, right? Because as I'm saying this is interesting, because just before we started this podcast, Hasim was saying, he was introducing his brother Muhsin to me, and he was telling me, mashallah, hafid of the Quran, up-and-coming boxer. So it seems as though your journey in your life has almost, you can take that inspiration from your brother and say, like, look, he made those mistakes, he made those errors because that's what the situation was. There was no one else kind of there to kind of guide you differently. How is kind of even hearing what your brother's saying now, Hasim, how do you think that hasn't impacted your life?
It impacts it in a lot of ways, as far as, how to deal with things, how to approach things, at times, it'll be times where you feel like you want to use your strength, your aggression, on people, but, a brother like Hasim will tell you, that's not really the way to go. You don't want to do this. You want to, kind of strategically make your moves when you're dealing with situations in life. So, and when he tells me those stories, like he said, if he tells us the real thing, it's like, I don't never want to go here. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, it's definitely different. It teaches me a lot, how to deal with life and how to deal with the people who come into my career in life.
Excellent. Okay, so now I want to kind of push forward a little bit. So you were working on the streets, dealing with these guys, you go to jail, and then you come out of jail, and from the research that I've done, all the reading that I've done, it seemed as though something really did click in your head, and you were like, I don't want to go back there. Is that the first time you went to prison and you thought that?
I never been to prison.
Oh, okay.
I just went to jail. But I've never went to prison. Like,
okay.
I went to jail twice for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that's
That's
never went
enough.
to prison.
Yeah.
I had a lot of homies that
Okay.
went to prison, and just for me going to jail was enough of a revelation. Like, this is despicable, you know. And
Right.
I had a son, and that's what really I think was the turning point for me, because I didn't want my son to get spoiled to a lifestyle that he was accustomed to, that his daddy was giving him everything he wanted, and then his dad just abruptly get taken away from him. And then what choice would he have? Well, look, you know, this is my family legacy. This is what we do. So then he would have got into it. So I mean, I had to break the chain. I had to stop it. So
How old were you at this point where this kind of clicked for you?
I was about 19.
Okay.
I was about 19.
And when did you really kind of start on the streets? Like, how long was your, I
It
suppose, the
was
street?
probably like 15 to
19.
15 to 19.
So 4 years.
15 to 20. I walked in the boxing gym at 20.
Yeah,
And when I walked in the boxing gym, I just left the streets alone.
that's incredible. What is it about boxing that changes people's lives?
I think for me, it was the discipline. I think it's a sport where you're responsible for everything on your own. You don't have a teammate. You can't blame the point guard. You can't blame the quarterback. It's all on you. The onus for winning and losing is on you. So if you don't prepare yourself, like I always compare the boxing ring to a polygraph.
Right. Okay.
You know,
Okay.
'cause everybody always say how good a shape they in, and they train, and it's the best training game. And then when they get in that ring, you find out just how much truth they speaking.
Yeah.
Truth, because
Yeah.
because it will tell on you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It will tell on you. You know, I've done it myself. Say, oh, I'm in good shape, this, that, and the third. I don't really be in good shape.
Yeah.
But if you can go in there and knock a guy out quick, you never really get exposed. But when you get in that hard fights, that's when the polygraph clicking, lie. So, I just think it's the ultimate like place where the truth will either set you free or it's going to expose you as a liar.
Wow.
So
That's super deep. And I want to touch upon this towards the end of this podcast when we talk about kind of where we are and the event and everything that's happening. But before we get into that then, so you're 20 years old, and what was the reason that you decided that I want to go boxing? Why not play American football? Why not play baseball? Why not anything else, you know?
it's funny because I was actually on the streets.
Yeah.
And I was like a big deal in the streets.
Okay.
So somebody came up from behind me and grabbed me,
Okay.
which was a no-no. So I'm saying, well, this better be the cops, it better be the police, because nobody else would do that.
Yeah.
So then when he let me go, he challenged me to a body punching contest.
Okay.
So I'm saying, and he was huge at the time.
Yeah.
He was a former professional boxer.
Okay.
So now I know I can fight in the streets.
Yeah.
And I know my heart won't allow me to turn down a challenge.
Yeah.
So I had to do it. And I wind up getting the best of him. And I stopped him. So when he told me, he said, man, you hit so hard. He said, man, I would take you to the gym, you would make $1 million.
Wow.
So when he told me that, wow, I'm like, whoa. So the guys like Rizq and Lennox Lewis at the top of the game. So I'm saying, if I saw any of them on the streets right now, I could beat them.
Okay.
So I said, well, let's do it. Then, I went in the gym, and it was love at first fight.
Right.
So the rest is history.
Did you enjoy fighting? Because I know quite a few fighters, and they will tell me, even yourself, do you love fighting? Do you guys, as fighters, love fighting, or is it for you a means to an end, and is it for you a way to kind of propel yourself? Like, what was it like for you when you were 20? Similar age to Muhsin, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was both.
Okay.
I love to fight, and it was a means to end.
Okay.
So it wasn't one or the other. I didn't grow up in the amateur tournaments and winning the Golden Gloves, and in fact, I only had 10 amateur fights. So it was like a rush job for me.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get in there and fight. I really wanted, like, it was always a question to me when I was younger. Would you fight Mike Tyson for $1 million? Yes.
Yeah, I'd fight Mike Tyson for $1 million.
All right.
I get knocked out.
Wait a minute. This is the key though. It's a 2-part question. You'll fight him for $1 million, but you have to go 10 rounds.
Oh.
In order to collect that $1 million.
Okay.
Anybody get in there? As soon as he hit me, I'm gonna fall.
Yeah. That was my plan.
Right. Yeah. And then I'm gonna give you the $1 million for that. You have to go 10 rounds.
I would train for months on cardio and just run.
You know what's
I
old
don't
saying?
think Tyson would let me.
But you know what's old saying? You can run, but you can't hide.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Be a square ring.
Yeah, exactly. Where am I gonna go?
So anyway, for me, I love to fight, and it was a means to an end. And
So it's everything basically for
it
you.
was all inclusive.
I can let out my rage, my anger. I can dominate a man, and then I can get paid for it as well. It's kind of the trifecta for any man, you know. You want to be dominant, right? Everybody wants to be the dominant person, and this is everything in one.
Yeah, it went from me hitting people on the streets, knocking them out,
and worrying about the repercussions as well.
Worrying about the repercussions. I might go to jail for this.
Yeah,
They might go to police. All kinds of. They might shoot me. They might kill me. Anything. Now you're giving me a license to knock people out, and not only that, you gonna pay me? This was like, wow. It really was surreal to me. Like, I can't believe you gonna pay me to do something that I love to do, and pay me.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
So this is really incredible. So and as we're talking, I'm just balancing a few things. So at this point, you're 20 years old. So you're still negative 2 years old at this point. So you're still not around right now, right?
Yeah, I got a son older than him.
Okay.
Nephew 2 years older than me.
Don't
He
worry.
don't call him uncle.
That sounds like a Pakistani family anyway.
He don't call him uncle. I keep
Grew up
telling him
like
to get his nephew to call him uncle.
Yeah.
He can't do it though because he's bigger than him.
So now you're in the boxing ring. You're 20 years old. You're in the boxing ring. Something's kind of very much clicked in your head that I don't want that life. This boxing thing can give me everything that I need in my life: health, wealth, whatever a human being needs. I can get it from this sport. Now, what's interesting, and I mentioned obviously we're here in Saudi Arabia, we're here in Riyadh at the kind of the eve of the fight week coming up between the headline fight, which is Anthony Joshua against Andy Ruiz. And I think what's interesting about you, Hasim, is that both fighters can learn a huge amount from your story. I mean, putting aside all the technical, all the ring experience, you started off late, which is similar to AJ.
Right.
But at the same time, you went on to have one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight boxing history against Lewis, which is the same as Ruiz against Joshua. So both fighters could learn from your story. Before we get to obviously the big headline fights, you're starting off, you had 10 amateur fights, and then you transition into professional boxing. What was it like for you, or I suppose, what was going through your head when you went in for your first professional boxing fight?
Wait a minute, let me backtrack for
Okay.
a second. When I fought Lennox Lewis,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't an upset to me.
Okay.
I
You
didn't
saw
say
it.
this upset.
You saw it when you started at 20.
Yeah. Now I saw it when we signed the contract.
Okay.
Like, okay, I'm ready to win the heavyweight championship of the world. So now, my first amateur fight, my first professional fight, I fought on ironically enough, I fought on the Riddick Bowe undercard.
Okay.
Riddick Bowe fought my stablemate Larry Donald.
Okay.
In Las Vegas. It was a huge fight. And I really got to fight in front of the HBO executives.
Mm-hmm.
So it was George Foreman was there. And and George Foreman said, that boy gonna be champion.
Mm-hmm.
In my first fight. So, I mean, the guy I fought in my first fight, never fought again. Never fought again. So I was retiring people from the jump.
That's a
box right there. Check it out too.
I mean, these experiences where people are just like quitting the sport after you're fighting them. This must be kind of like you're saying, the polygraph, your own internal polygraph. You're probably saying to yourself like, wow, okay, like yeah, I was actually right about what I thought. Did you have any doubts about yourself, or were you always just like, nah, that was it, like that was just what was going to happen anyway? Did you ever doubt yourself in the ring?
No. In fact, I think part of the reason why I've incurred some losses is because I just know what I can do. And the difference is sometimes what I did was I know what I can be, I know what I can do, but when I show up, I don't always check all the boxes in the training time.
Right.
So I just feel like I can do this, but it's not that you can just do this. It's I can do this if I prepare right. Mm-hmm. And the difference is, like, have you ever heard the saying, well, it depends on which Hasim Rahman shows up? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's so true, because guys you might be one fighter this fight and a completely different fighter, depending on your preparation. Mm-hmm. And see, now with the guys that I'm training, I make sure that they're always prepared. Mm-hmm. Because the preparation is the key. And you may not be the same guy. Mm-hmm. You have to always. Boxing is not a part-time gig; it's full-time. And if you want to spend your money and take your time and do this and do that, and then you can come in the gym for 6 weeks and just get right back to top form, that may or may not necessarily happen. So why risk it? Just stay in shape.
So like I've seen like people like Ricky Hatton, for example, these type of guys that really blow up. That's never going to be sustainable. This has you see Mayweather, like now, even today, he's ready to go, right?
That's the key. That's the blueprint. That's one thing.
Always stay in shape.
See, I didn't have a Floyd to
look up to
for a blueprint. I didn't. It wasn't a Floyd for me. For me, it was just okay. I'm just taking this journey, and I'm on my own. Because I'm learning everything about boxing. There was no YouTube. There was no social media. There was none of these things that I could go and grab and learn from. I didn't have a big brother. I didn't have a family member that I could lean on that could show me the rope. I was the pioneer. I had to go. All this was just brand new. So, I took some lumps and bruises along the way, which had I had a me to mentor me, none of it would have happened.
Right. So that's really interesting because it's so true. I mean, our parents' generation, for example, they look at us like, how did these guys know so much information? But like we're able to literally, anything that I want to know, I can go to Google, I can go to YouTube, and I can find it out. Someone asks me a question, by the time they've finished asking the question, I've already got the answer, right? So not only do you not have those access to information that we have today, but also even the fights, like the big heavyweight fights, they're all pay-per-view, so you have to pay to watch it as well, right?
Right.
So I mean, for you when you were growing up, were you watching boxing? Was boxing a thing for you?
It was a thing, but it was a casual thing. It was like, Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
I mean, like Mike Tyson.
You watched the Tyson fights and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like the mainstream fights.
Yeah.
But did I know any of the top 10 contenders?
Yeah.
No.
He was the only mainstream I was watching. The only fight I ever watched. So,
So, what year did you have your first fight?
December 94.
December 94. So you were 22 then, which means that was when you were 1. Awesome. So at this point, in terms of your lifestyle, what was your lifestyle like? Were you close with your family at that time? Were you getting together and saying, look, I'm training, or were you very much an independent by yourself doing your thing? And now, kind of as you've grown up and as you've aged, these things have become more important. What was your mindset like back in those early days?
Well, for me, it was just about I had my own family. I already had a wife and a kid.
Okay.
So I was kind of on my own. So my mom and my dad, they was still doing their thing. My father was still having kids. So here go Muslim. I was trying to.
He's blessed.
I was trying to create my own legacy.
Yeah.
So I was out there trying to, do what I need to do to become every champion in the world. That was on my mind. So my dad, we would talk and we was cool, but I had to go out. I was on my own, so I had to go out and do it my way. I had to go Frank Sinatra this day.
I've heard from there's a guy called Sonny Bill Williams. He's a New Zealand rugby player, and he's won the World Cup with New Zealand a couple of times. But before that, this guy's a World Cup winning rugby player, right, from New Zealand, right? Before that, he was a national champion boxer as well. So he's had 2 careers. And you know what he said? He said, someone asked him, what's harder, boxing or rugby? And he said, look, when you're playing rugby, you've got all these people around you. Like you said, you've got the point guy, you've got this guy, you've got that guy. If you've got the ball, you don't want to get hit, you throw it to someone else.
Right.
And he said, when you enter a ring, all your friends, all the training, all the entourage, all the coaches, everyone who's around,
all get out.
None of them go into the ring with you. And it's just
you can't call time out.
Yeah.
You get hit with a good shot. You get hit with a good body shot. It knocks the wind out of you. You either gonna get knocked out or you gonna suck it up and deal with it. But it's all on you. You can't pass. You can't tag team. None of that. You can't do none of that. So it's fascinating how you got one man and it's, to me, it's always a challenge of who got the strongest will. Because in my mind I can know I'm stronger than you, and when I hit you, if you don't show me what I'm looking to see, then maybe you might get me to start questioning my power. But I gotta know that this is hurting. You just not trying to show me.
Right.
But I know it anyway. I know it. Every time I hit you, I know it's hurting. Even though you might smile at me, you might look at me like, man, please, I don't feel better. But I gotta know. So I gotta impose my will on you.
Yeah. And
you gotta really try to impose your will on me. So it's really it's really such a chess game in there.
That's really interesting.
Game of chess.
Yeah, absolutely. For example, like when we watched the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, for example, right? 95% of the people watched that said the worst fight ever. And to be fair, they could have probably turned it on a bit more. But what I saw was just 2 masters in their craft, just playing with each other, and not one of them is
figure
out. I saw one master.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw one master and one student. Because one of them got taken to school. Floyd just took him to school. It wasn't 2 masters.
Wow. Okay.
It definitely wasn't 2 masters. And it's an old saying. It's levels to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's levels, and Floyd just showed you. I'm a level 2 or 3 or 4 above Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Pacquiao do the same thing. It was no adjustments, no game planning. He just wanted to go out there and throw a bunch of punches and think he gonna hit Mayweather and hope he hurt him. And then he could just try to finish him. But Floyd was astute in his game plan, and he shut it down. And he makes it look like, people always say easy work, easy work, easy work. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. It's not. So I tell all my fighters, no, it's never easy work. It's hard work that we make look easy. Because you do when you put in the time, now you'll make it look easy, but it's not easy. The reason why it's not easy is because of all the hard work you did.
Absolutely.
Forget what you do in that little 36 minutes. It's about them 3 weeks, them 4 weeks, them 5 weeks, them 3 months, them 6 months, them 6 years of work you put in for that 36 minutes.
Yeah.
All that's hard work to make the work look easy in that time. The fights are won and lost in preparation. You can't just show up and think you're gonna be ready to fight. It's about and for the youngsters, it's about whether you boxing, whether you trying to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. It's all about preparation. That's the key. Period.
Hard work, dedication.
Dedication is the key. You know, you gotta put your study time in. You gotta put your hours in. No matter what you want to be. If you want to be a lawyer, you gotta pass the bar exam. You gotta put in your hours and hours and hours of preparation. The same thing with boxing. You gotta put in hours and hours and hours of training, of sparring, of everything. So it's no different. The blueprint is the same. Preparation.
Absolutely. So on your timeline, who was the first fighter that you thought, like this might be it? I mean, Evander Holyfield, Lennox. Did you ever consider these guys like this guy might, he might get me or anything like that? Were you ever afraid before with the names and the clout and stuff like that?
Never afraid, but the first one, you'd be surprised. The first one that I was a little suspicious of, and I thought they might be moving me too fast, was Trevor Berbick, former heavyweight champion of the world. I've been 10 rounds one time, and they put me in with a former world champion. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm so new to this game.
Yeah.
And everything is coming so quick. So now they say, we're going to put you on this former world champion. Wow, what? So, but I went on and did it. I beat him, and then just kept moving on. But with every win, your confidence meter just goes up. Up. So, I just felt like, man, nobody can beat me in this game. So,
who came first, Lennox or Evander?
Lennox.
So Lennox Lewis. So this first fight with Lennox Lewis, right? Lennox Lewis was obviously like a household. Coming from England, like Lennox Lewis is, he was the poster boy, right? As soon as England's a small little island, right? So as soon as we get one person who's won anything, right? That's it. Like that's it. That's the guy, right?
Yeah.
So Lennox Lewis
represented Canada.
We still claim him. We still claim him.
Does he claim Jamaica too?
He claims everything. We still claim him as
I
well.
don't understand.
He's got the British accent, so we take it.
He got Canadian. He got a
Canadian accent
for Canada.
Canadians want to be Londoners anyway.
Oh, okay.
Peace out to any Canadians.
I get that.
So Lennox Lewis was his household name. He's the champ. Now, someone said to you, Hasim, you're going to fight Lennox for the title. Before that fight, would you see that as a huge step up, or did you feel like that was just the next progression anyway? Because you said Trevor Berbick was like, whoa, that's quick, right? Did you feel the same way about that first Lennox fight? Or were you just like, as you said, my confidence was building, I never doubt myself anyway? You imagined knocking Lennox out when you started in the gym.
Yeah, I did, as an amateur. I think I made a video and said it.
Oh, no way.
I got to find the videos on the cassette tape. But I really called him and Riddick Bowe out. They were the G champions.
Right, okay.
So I called both of them out at a time, said I'm taking your belt. So I definitely felt like I was born to be a heavyweight champion. So, and this was my shot. And I felt like I just beat Corey Sanders, who was one of the hardest hit southpaw, fast guy. And he was actually a world champion too, WBU world champion. So I never get credit for this, But I actually won my first world title knocking out Corey Sanders,
Right.
who then came and knocked out Vladimir Klitschko. So, for me, I was going to get a more recognizable world title, but to me, I was already a world champion.
Yeah.
So now I'm fighting a more recognizable mainstream world champion. So I felt like this is my chance to show the world.
In the build up to this fight next week, the whole AJ Ruiz thing, right? We hear a lot of, I mean, especially in the UK, our UK media, they love to like really dig into a person, right? And someone like AJ has kind of, now lost this fight and people are digging into him. And even before the fight, people are asking him like, oh, do you think you're going to win? Because he's almost now become the underdog in this, right? At that point, like you said, you were never the underdog in your head. But were people, the press, the media, were people saying that about you at that time? Like, oh, he's the underdog and, who is he? How is he going to fight Lewis and stuff like that? I mean, how does that impact you as a fighter?
It doesn't. See, one thing about boxing, it's such a mind game. It's such a mind game that you can either let it defeat you or you can let it motivate you.
Yeah.
And I would always take it as motivation, because one thing, when I signed the fight, it was a big deal in my hometown. So people was coming up to me, congratulating me. I heard you got a heavyweight championship fight. I stopped them all. Don't congratulate me for it. He picked me. Right. Don't congratulate me. Once I go over here to South Africa and beat him, and I come back with the belts, then you can congratulate me. So don't do that. So I don't get sucked into the game when people play. Like, don't patronize me. Don't play with me like that. Let me go earn my congratulations. I didn't do anything to earn a congratulations at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, because he picked me because he thinks he's gonna knock me out. You congratulate me for getting, being picked to be knocked out.
Yeah.
Because Lennox was a monster.
Yeah.
So nobody gave me a shot, but I gave me a shot. And since I'm the one got to get in there and stand up to his punches and deliver my own, it's about what I think, about what I feel. It's about a fighter knows. A fighter knows. You can tell fighters who you can sense what they trying to do. When you get in there with anybody, you can, like I tell you, you can see, you can tell if they trying to impose their will on you or if you're going to impose your will on them.
Right.
So when you get in there and you don't go to the script, you don't follow the script.
Yeah.
The script was for me, Lennox, to hit me with that big right hand and me just to lay that. I wasn't going for that. I didn't get the memo.
So you, Muhsin, at this point then would have been about 8 years old, right? Are you aware of what's going on at the moment?
I was aware. Yeah, I definitely was aware. I was back home watching at my a good friend of mine's house, and we all paying attention to his big brother.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out. I didn't really. As a matter of fact, I wasn't aware of how big the fight was. Okay. I was just aware that he was on TV and he's in a different country, and that's all I cared about. I was just like, that's my brother.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it at the school. I went to all Muslim schools, so I'm getting praised just because that's my brother. So of course I was happy.
How does that affect you, having a brother who's the world heavyweight champion of the world? Did that kind of get to your head at that young age? Did people try to make it get to your head? Was it something that people taunted you for some reason? Do you know what I mean? Like, people, if someone's got some success, other people want to bring you down. I mean, did that change your life? Did that change things? Do you know what I'm saying?
A little bit. When he first won, for being in a Muslim school, they kind of praise you a little bit, and then you go back to Baltimore City. People didn't bother you as much.
Right.
I wasn't really bullied like that, out when I played basketball in the streets and all that, but because they knew who I was related to. But other than that, I mean, they didn't put a chip on my shoulder. was just that's what my brother was.
That was just normal to you. That was normal life.
It was a normal thing to me.
Absolutely. No, that makes complete sense. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
You only know what you know, right? Your brother's
That's
they were
what I was
champion.
raised
That's
upon,
my brother, right?
That's it.
That's what I knew.
Did anyone have you ever used the line "I'm gonna get my brother on you" when you were growing up?
No. You know why? Because he I really,
Okay.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't have to. People knew who he was, so they really didn't bother me.
Yeah.
And you know, he's 21 years old,
Yeah.
so he was more like an uncle,
Okay.
you know, than an older brother.
Yeah.
But all his friends would have him back.
Okay.
I wouldn't really have to worry about people because even though he might be out of town, but his friends would always ask him, hey, how are you? You doing good? Or, you know, you okay? So I was always looked after or something like that when I was, you know, out doing anything. So, you know.
That's really interesting, actually, and that's something that I want to ask you, Hasim, which is, so as I mentioned, you know, before we started the podcast, that you know I've had a few videos, it went viral, and you know I was getting, bro, I'm no one, right? I'm no one, right? People get viral videos every day, but I had people calling my phone and I didn't know who they were, and there was someone that I spoke to like 7 years ago, and they've seen like this video, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on? Long time no see. You know, how you been? You know, all this type of stuff."
Right. Yeah.
And obviously, like since a lot of the viral videos, I've kind of slowed down, focusing on a few different things, and a lot of the phone calls gone now, right? So, and that's on a very small scale, right? That's on a tiny scale. A few people chasing some clout. What is it like for you at this point when the fight, you know, from when you start fighting? Did you see that, all right, there's a few people that are coming to me, and then obviously when the big fight came, you know, the mega fight, if you will, the Lennox one, is that when the phone call started? You know, when people started saying to you, "Oh, what's going on, Hasim?" How did things change for you from a social perspective in the lead up to this fight?
I mean, it's like, to me, I found out that I had so many relatives.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of uncles, a lot of cousins, a lot of brothers.
I got cousins from everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just know that my when I was a champ, my family exponentially increased.
Yeah.
So
All your friends did
that's
too.
what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's just human nature. When people feel like they can
Get something.
get something off them, they're gonna shoot their jumper. They're gonna try. So, but for me, I always knew this because, like, for me, like I was a little kid. Like I was 17 years old with 90,000 as a 17-year-old. So I was always kind of used to this anyway.
Okay. So people knew you were about that life anyway.
So I had like a precursor. I had like a little trial as a youngster anyway, because I always had money.
Yeah.
So I know how they come. I know how
got
they
that
come.
from
So
him.
I'm already prepared. So I knew how to handle. I know how to handle.
Yeah.
So,
My club came from him.
Okay.
So I got brothers that I didn't know
Yeah.
about. I got cousins and uncles, and you know, when he became champion, I had so many. Hey, you know, I was a real good friend of your brothers. And
Okay.
all, you know, so I learned that at a young age too. So
That's almost like the worst form of clout chasing, because they're not even chasing you; they're chasing his brother to then get to him, right? It's like layers of
I don't even know
chasing
what they were
clout.
chasing. Because he wasn't even around like that. You know, he's always either traveling. Just when he came in town, we would hang out with him, but it was weird because everybody still wanted to just be a part of him.
Yeah.
So it was strange. So that's what taught me.
It was a lady that worked at a bank. This was the funniest to me. So my dad went to the bank, and so the lady, there was some kind of way my name came up in the bank. So the lady at the bank was telling my dad that she knows my dad.
Okay.
I know his father. His father comes in all the time. Talking to my father. So he said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, I didn't know I come in here all the time." So I mean, it's just like everybody want to claim something.
I'm a Hasim Rahman's brother. Like, really? Which one?
We family, baby.
No, you just asked which brother are you?
Yeah.
You closest to which one? Oh yeah, so you my brother. Okay.
Man, it's just nuts. Everybody wanna, if you're at the top, everybody wanna be a part of it.
Yeah.
What advice could you give to someone who is going to go through that? I mean, what advice would you give to future champions, to future entrepreneurs, to future leaders, right? In this way, in terms of the circle that you keep.
I mean, just when you start off with a circle, try to keep it small and tight, because as you grow, you might can make your circle bigger, but just know their roles and keep them in their lane, because everybody that you add on, they coming because of what you are, not who you are. So keep it tight.
So as we've touched upon it, but I wanna speak about it in a bit more detail now, which is the actual fight itself with Lennox. So in the build up to that, are you there's a lot of, for example, if you remember Jarrell Miller and AJ, I mean, there's pushing and shoving, and what was it like that?
No, not for the first fight.
Okay. First fight, he thought that this guy would knock him off anyway, right?
Yeah.
So there's no need for him to have any animosity.
Yeah, it was no animosity whatsoever. I always felt like I was picked, and I was offended by being picked.
Yeah.
Because I actually was supposed to fight Lennox earlier.
Okay.
Me and David Tour, we had an eliminator. The winner fights Lennox Lewis. I beat David Tour, and I got blatantly cheated out of the fight. So I was supposed to be undefeated, fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. But obviously, it didn't work out that way. So when he picked me, I felt like, wow, you had a choice and you picked me. I felt offended. So I put my go to work gear on, and I went to work. So I trained hard, and I just knew that I was great to become heavyweight champion of the world.
As you're training, you're doing those runs, you're hitting the punch bag. Are you putting yourself into the ring? Is that what fighters do? Do you put yourself into the ring when you're, in the gym, and then kind of when you're in the ring, you're thinking about the gym again? Is that how it works in your mind?
That's how it worked for me.
Okay.
And actually,
I do that.
Yeah.
Actually, for me, right, when this fight happened, I went to South Africa like a month earlier.
Okay.
And
Acclimatized and all that.
Right. But what happened to me is I felt like I was Muhammad Ali in Zaire.
Okay.
Because I was the young Muslim. He was the big dominating heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And like he was George Foreman and I was Ali.
Yeah.
And when I was running, all the people they just surrounded me.
Right.
When I was running the streets,
No way.
It was almost like deja vu.
Wow.
I felt like Cassius. I felt like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And this big bear of a man, Lennox Lewis was supposed to come and kill me, George Foreman was supposed to kill me. So when I was running around, people started running with me and things like that, and it was just more confirmation to me that this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. So I felt like I was Muhammad Ali running. I was like, it was
just destiny for you.
I'm a slated giant like Ali did. So that was just more confirmation to me. Like, the people who was around, they loved me, they embraced me in South Africa. They didn't even know me when I got there, but before I left, they knew me, they embraced me, they came out with me. So it was just like, I felt it the whole time I was there. Ever since I agreed to the fight. But when I went to South Africa, it was just like, I got a stamp of approval, So it was like I was in Zaire. It was like, to me, that was my rumble in the jungle.
Yeah. So, no, that's super cool. And now in the fight, kind of talk me through the fight as things are going. You know, what's happening in terms of your mindsets? Because you said before, you know, you'll hit someone, they'll get hurt, but they won't show it, right? But you'll know it.
Right.
Do you feel that when you're punching someone that I know I got him there? I know I got him there.
You learn it.
Yeah.
You learn it. You know, especially he's teaching me that now. Like, you know, you can punch, so you gotta already know. Like, it doesn't matter what he showed, he felt that punch. Regardless of what he's doing, he felt that punch, and you gotta keep at him regardless of what he can smile and all that. You gotta keep going at him because you know that he's hurt.
So it's almost like you don't care how he reacts. I'm hurting this guy, and I'm throwing my best shots. This guy's getting hurt.
I expect him not to show me any reaction.
Okay.
You know, I expect him because if he show me a reaction, he knows I'm gonna jump on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect him to give me a poker face, bluff face. You don't want to show me that. You don't want to show me anything. And ironically speaking, when I hit Lennox in the 4th round, he smiled at me.
Right, that was your sign.
Yeah, he messed up right there. He smiled at me, so I'm like, okay, we're fighting, we're trying to hurt each other here.
Yeah.
No place for smiling.
Yeah.
So what are you doing smiling? Okay, you felt that. Right, okay. So I just, just filed that away.
Yeah,
I heard him, so I know. I heard him once, I can hear him again. So, the fight to me, honestly, was like an even fight in the 5th round. No, I thought it was pretty much an even fight going into the 5th round. And the round before, he smiled at me, so I wanted to really hit him. Like, I wanted to, you know how you check your kid's temperature? I wanted to check the temperature of Lennox. So, I got him to the ropes. I jabbed him across the ring to the ropes, and then I checked the temperature. He was sick.
Okay.
So
you had to go to bed that time.
Yeah.
Had a fever, yeah?
Lay him down.
I had to go see the doctor after that one, I'm sure. So now you're world champion of the world.
Right.
10 years ago, what were you doing? Today, you're world champ. How is that impacting your mindset? Did that take you, to a place where you yourself were probably like, for example, you see in Rocky, right? He wins the belts, he gets all the luxuries that come with that, and then he gets kind of, as they say, he starts sleeping in silk sheets. Did that happen with you, or what's happening now post becoming world champ?
I pretty much always tried to stay the same because you never know what the future holds. So I always try to live a life that I can always live.
Okay.
I never wanted to
live.
That's interesting. I never wanted to live like let me go Hollywood, so to speak. Like I never wanted to do that. In fact, we had a neighborhood, like an Islamic neighborhood that we was developing. Me, my father, and some of the others. I purchased a house in the neighborhood so I can be amongst, the Muslims. Wow. So I never wanted to be that guy that
blew up and left people behind.
Yeah, not only that, but that people couldn't talk to, couldn't
right.
Like if it was 300 people in a place and every one of them wanted my autograph, I signed them all. I signed every one of them. Like I never wanted to be. I never got my phone number changed. Right. I had this phone number I had before I was world champion. I never wanted to be this guy who now all of a sudden you can't reach him. Like for me, I always felt like I was pretty tough. And it's some mean streets in Baltimore, and I would walk those streets as champion by myself. So I always wanted to be just just me. That's who I am. You know, and like I would always tell my kids, listen, they would read, you know, when people, writers such as yourself, the media, y'all write what y'all want to write. You know, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And sometimes people will write things that hurt my kids' feelings when they read it, because my kids were young at the time.
Yeah.
But so I'm saying, listen, they don't know me. They don't know your dad. They just know rock, the boxing. It's like a rugby team, a soccer team, a football team. I used to tell them, do you say things sometimes when your team make you mad? You like, oh, they sorry, they suck, they this, they that. But then when they win, that's my team. So it's the same thing. It's like I'm a franchise. Stop it. They don't know me. When they're writing about the fighter. The fighter and your father are two different people. Wow. And if you don't differentiate yourself from the fighter you are, you can really get your mind screwed up at this game. So too many people think they are that fighter. No, that's something different. I'm an individual. Whatever I did in the boxing ring or didn't do, that don't define me as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a Muslim. That don't define me at all. It's two entirely different things. Yeah. And too many people try to be one and the same. I never wanted to be one and the same. Yeah. Because I know I'm not. And I know when this boxing over, I'm gonna still be me. So that's how I was able to deal with a lot. And I never really played into the lights, the camera, the action, because I know boxing is only a short span. But I had the wherewithal to understand this is only going to be a small amount of time. And no matter what you do, Floyd Mayweather never lost a fight. But so many people criticize him and hate him and talk bad about him. Like, for what? How you going to argue with something nobody never lost? But people will find something. People will find something to criticize you about. So I'm saying, okay, let them criticize you. Rock the boxer all they want. They don't know Rock the person. So go ahead, no problem.
You said something like super duper profound there, which it's just ringing in my head, and I just want to ask kind of about that again, which is,
talk to me.
You said I wanted to live a life that I could sustain, right? So even if I had 4 million here, 6 million there, whatever the purses were, right? I still wanted to maintain a life that I could live forever anyway.
Right.
You grew up in the hood, right? Like you said, people that are on the wire are the people that you associate with.
Correct.
What you said there is advice, life advice, that probably 100% of the people out there should and could take on board. Where did you pick that up from? Where did you learn that? What made you think that way? Because so many people, like even Andy Ruiz, I mean, not to say he's complacent, but you can definitely see the trappings of his success now with the G-Wagons and the Rolls Royces and all that type of stuff. I'm not taking anything away from training. I mean, I'm not his coach, I'm not his trainer, and I only see what the media shows me, right? So they show me what they want to show me, right? But someone will look at Andy Ruiz in this way, how the media are portraying him, that he's flashy, he's fancy, he's blown up now, right? And they'll probably follow that. But I think what you've said there is probably life advice that we should get. I mean, if tattoos were halal, bro, I'd tattoo that on my arm right now, bro. Just remind myself of that every day. Where did that come from? How did you start thinking of that?
I mean, I just feel like it was just in me. Like, I know the people I'm around. Like, the people I'm around were not that affluent. Okay. They wasn't. But these are the people I'm gonna be around all the time. So if either I'm gonna make it comfortable for them, because these are my people. So I don't want to be around these people and be a totally different guy, the guy that they raised. Now I just switched up everything.
It really sounds like having a family grounded you, and it was probably the best thing for you as a person. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yes, 100%. You know, the crazy part, the crazy part is I'm not so sure I would have had a son so early. But I didn't think that the way my life was going, I didn't think I would live to see 21. So I had a son. I had a son, and this is really, to me, this was so selfish and unfair to him. But I had a son because my mom used to tell me, you're gonna do something special. She used to tell me that. So I felt like I'm just a big disappointment to her.
Right.
Because I'm not even gonna live to see 21. So I had a son, I named him after me, and I was just like, whatever she thought I was gonna do, he could do.
Okay.
So I just put it all on him.
So for you, you were just like, I need to create a legacy for myself before I'm taken out.
It wasn't so much for me because
Like
I
your
thought
son
I was
is
gonna
your
be.
legacy.
I thought I was gonna be dead, but I actually had him for my mom because she used to tell me that I was gonna be this special thing. I'm gonna do something special. She used to always instill that in me. So I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Like, okay, well, I mean, I was fairly smart in school, but I chose another route. So now, since I chose the other route, like, man, let me have a son for her, so she could whatever dreams and aspirations she had for me, he can get them. He can give them to her because I ain't doing nothing special. So, thought I'd be either dead or in prison for life. What can I do special in either of those places?
SubhanAllah, it reminds me of what Allah tells us in the Quran that, when you have children, He will provide their rizq. He will give you their rizq. So it kind of sounds like having your child is Allah, and your boxing career was Allah's way of giving you that rizq for this person that you are now in charge of, you are responsible for. I mean, would you
Oh, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. And it's easy to just go ahead and put it in that perspective now.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
after the fact, it's like, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
But while it's going on, it's like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm not doing the right things. So let me have this little boy.
What year was your son born?
91.
So that's 3 years before you even stepped into a ring as an amateur, and 10 years.
2 years.
2 years.
I walked in the gym in 93.
93. Okay. The first fight was in 94.
The first fight was in 94.
And so your son was 10 at the point of the Lennox fight.
Right.
So it's almost like 10 years of you
1 decade.
not knowing like what's happening, how am I going to provide for this kid, to then you've had the child, and you're 10 years later you're world champion, and that's so inspiring because I know there's a lot of people who don't want to get married, don't have kids because they feel like I can't afford it. I can't afford kids, and actually, Allah's telling us no, that's your responsibility.
Right.
That's my responsibility. You have that kid, he's my responsibility.
Right. Right.
So I think like what you've said there is, I've actually got like, you can see here, bro, like I'm tingling, bro. That's mad.
You gotta talk to me more often when you want to get like.
I'm a holly, bro. Whenever I'm feeling down, I'll see you, man.
Hit me up.
I'm down, bro. Yeah. So okay, cool. So I want to kind of move forward now into the present day. So you had an illustrious boxing career. You were a 2-time world heavyweight champion, linear heavyweight champion as well.
Yeah, actually, I won my first world title against Corey Sanders.
Yes, you were saying, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't get credit for that, but he was one of the hardest hitting guys, knocked Klitschko out in 2 rounds.
Wow.
And he had a world title, and I actually took my first world title for him in the year 2000. So just...
That's interesting, actually, because Vitaly retired. He didn't even want to fight, did he?
No. He was having trouble with sparring partners who I knock out on a regular, so I know he ain't want no smoke. He ain't want no smoke.
Oh, it's fine. He just gave it to you.
That's right.
He was like, I don't want none of that, man. Because I was reading about it, like he was just like, oh no, I've got this injury, and no, I've got this injury, no, this injury on my back, and
So then I had to go fight for interim title because I knew
Yeah.
he wasn't going to fight.
So through this boxing career, at what point did you decide to hang up your gloves, and how hard of a decision was that, or how easy of a decision was that for you?
Well, it was for me. I really stopped training, you know, and then as you get older, it gets harder.
Was it a loss of love, or was it just that you were getting older and your body was just telling you like, this is?
It was just like, I don't like to say lazy. I just like to say I just really enjoy doing nothing.
Okay.
So
Me too.
Work.
yeah, I just like to. And when I was younger, I could really do nothing, and then in 3 weeks' time, I can be in tip-top shape.
Right. Okay.
But you as a fighters think that when they do something, they can always do it. We can always do it. Like, I did this, or I knocked him out, so I could do this. And it's not about you being able to do it all the time. You got to prepare yourself. If the preparation not there, you can't do it. You cannot do it unless you always prepared. But fighters and their egos and their bravado, we always think that we can do it. Now, once you get older, you can go and train the same way that you did when you was in your 20s, in your 30s, and then once you get 40, okay, you did all that, and you don't see the results. The metabolism slows down. You know, the energy is not the same. It's a whole different ballgame. But we refuse to submit to Father Time, and Father Time is undefeated. So
Absolutely.
you're going to lose if you try to fight into your old body. Our egos keep telling us we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. So.
Do you feel like going back into the ring?
I do.
Would you fight Evander again? Because he wants to get back.
I will.
Yeah?
Set it up.
Whoa. Yo,
Can we
Evander
call him
Holyfield.
out right now?
Call him out. Evander Holyfield.
Hey, look here. He headquarters. I call him
Hey,
headquarters
why?
because he uses head. He headbutt.
Yeah.
So
No, we know.
headquarters. Headquarters. Let's go. You want to fight? The Rock is ready to rock your world, boy. Come on, sign it up.
Yo, Evander, let's make this happen, man. Let's make that rematch happen.
Yeah. But can we put a helmet on him?
Huh?
Can we put a helmet on him?
Yeah, you can do what you want,
Yeah,
man.
we're gonna put a helmet on him.
Winning helmet.
I think it'd be a little lighter in his head. So if he headbutt me in the helmet, I'd be okay.
No, we just make sure that the ref and the judges aren't.
I don't need no. They were the ref and the judges right here.
That's it.
That's all I need.
So once you hung up your gloves, it wasn't like you said. It wasn't that you lost love for it. It was just that you enjoyed the relaxation element of it. That the fact that you didn't need to fight anymore.
And it's a realization that I wasn't putting the time in. Now it's like, okay, I would need 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Now I might need 6 months.
Okay.
It's still a way you can do it, but you just got to recognize
Right.
that.
Okay.
Okay, now it's got to be done this way, or it's got to be done that way. It's a recipe for it, but you just can't do it like you used to.
So a lot of people, from what I've read, were saying that look, in that first Lennox Lewis fight that you had, he underestimated you. The rematch that you had, did you underestimate him?
Actually, I did, because you got to realize this. I knocked him out in South Africa, and then we had a press conference, and we got into a tussle in the press conference, and I kind of manhandled him at the press conference. So I'm looking at him like, this guy's really just too weak for me. So now, like, all the adjustments need to be made on his part. Why do I need to make an adjustment?
Right. Okay.
He made the proper adjustment, right? He definitely fought me totally different in the second fight. what is really, really crazy and unfair is that we never gave me a chance to make an adjustment and have like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Now, if you give me, now seeing the adjustments he made, okay, give me a chance to go and make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Let's have a third fight.
Because it's 1-1, isn't it?
Right, and I think that you know, you give me the opportunity to make an adjustment. I think you see a very different fight in the third fight.
You know, just as you're saying this in my head, how amazing would it be, right, if some of the old school fighters like Lennox, Evander obviously wants to come out. You know, you've called out Evander Holyfield here. Would you get in the ring again with Lennox Lewis if he wanted to fight for that 1-1?
Listen, you already know the answer to these questions. Anybody I ever fought, ever, I will fight again.
Get it again. Yo, let's get it on. Lennox Lewis versus Rahman. Evander Holyfield, Rahman. No headbutting.
Any fighter, let me just say that. Any fighter of my era, right? Any fighter that was in the top 10 in the 90s,
Hold up.
if they want to fight, we can do that. It's not even what I fought you. It's some fighters that I never got a chance to fight. I'll be your Huckleberry if you want it. If they want it, they can get it.
It reminds me of Dillian White. He says, "I am the can man. Anybody who wants it can get it."
Yeah. Something like that.
Said that.
Huh?
Broner said that.
But Broner said it different.
Yeah,
Broner said
yeah,
African, American, Mexican, anybody can get it.
Okay.
He said it, yeah. So Dillian White kind of piggybacked on
Yeah.
But I mean, I go for that. They can get it.
Yeah. That's sick.
In fact, speaking of Dillian White, I have a fighter that I'm training currently named Michael Hunter.
Yes.
Dillian, you can get that.
He should be coming over here, right?
Yeah.
He's training with Tom Little.
What I'm telling you is that we're fighting Povetkin on this card.
Yeah.
After we handle our business with Povetkin, Dillian, you can get some of that Michael Hunter smoke. We'll come fight you in England next.
That would be sick. I think that would be an amazing fight. Let me just stop and start. So as you mentioned, you've got a fighter. So you've got a fighter now, Michael Hunter. You've got your brother, Muhsin. So now you've transitioned. You've done what a lot of sports people do is once they've mastered their craft, you know, they've gone through the process themselves as a professional. They then want to hand down the keys to the people, you know, who are trying to come up now, right? So did you go straight into coaching afterwards? Was it a natural thing? Was it something that you had decided that, okay, after a few years I want to get back in gyms? You know, what was your thought process behind becoming a coach? And I suppose, how is being a coach different to being a fighter, other than not actually getting hit in the face all the time?
You know, it's actually funny, right? It's actually funny. It's something that I always used to say, but I never realized that it was happening to me.
Right.
I used to say, you want to make Allah laugh? Tell them your plans, right? So I always said that I would never be a trainer.
Right.
I don't have the patience to be a trainer. That was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no, I'm putting you right there. You gonna train these guys. And then it just happened that I got into the training. And now I got two sons that box. I got a little brother that box. And I got Mike, who's like a little nephew or something. He's been like a family member to me. So it's like I got these guys that they look up to me. They look up to me as a man, as a brother, as a father, as an uncle, as a, like I got these guys that they trust me with their livelihood, because every time you get in that ring, anything can happen. So it's, for me, I got to do my best to prepare them, and I try to give it to them, all the mistakes I made, I try to eliminate from them, and I try to really, really work out with them and let them know, listen, I'm super, super strong. And I want them to all be stronger than me. So now I motivate them when I go in, but they can see me coming in and do this stuff at my age. So now I just let them know, look, the world champions can do more than me. So that you want to get to this, let's do that. If you can't get past me, we don't need to be doing this. So I can't be outworking the fighters. So I use that as a motivation to them. Cause I'm in good shape. I can still work out with them. You know, so I try to get them everything, every little I try to dot, every T I try to cross, and it's gonna work out. It's been working out, and it's gonna continue to work out. Inshallah.
So Muhsin, now this is kind of where I want to kind of speak to you, because at this point, throughout Hasim's career, you were a kid, you were growing up, and it's almost quite fortunate that you had this big age gap, because now that Hasim, has hung up the gloves, he's I'm gonna take them off and put them on you. So, as you mentioned, you've got some other brothers, you've got some other family members, you've got kids. Why did you think that I also want to be a fighter as well? Because I'm sure, like, not everyone in your family, not all your cousins and brothers, not everybody wants to be a fighter, right?
Yeah.
Why did you think, of all your family members and all your friends and everyone there, that, you know what, I'm a Hafid of the Quran, but I want to bang man's out in the boxing ring? Like, how does that thought process even kind of intertwine together?
Well, like Hasim said, it's you plan, Allah plans, and Allah's the blessed planners. But I was in Boston, being security. I was trying to go back to college, and we got in a little tussle at the club, and I hit a guy to the body. He was like, "You should come to the gym," and I was like, "Nah."
Oh, he said that to you?
Yeah, one of my coworkers.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I was just like, "Nah, I'm okay. Like, I know about boxing, but it's just not my thing." And
how old were you at this point? Like 18, 19?
I was 21.
Oh, you're 21?
Yeah, I was 21.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So is that where this is from?
We late bloomers.
Yeah, we late bloomers. I only had 19 amateur fights. So, but yeah, I told him no. I was like, I already know about boxing, but that's not my thing. I'm about to go. I was an athlete. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm trying to do something else. And the crazy thing is, I got into an argument with with a family member, and I needed to leave Boston.
Okay.
And a brother that's in the middle of us was like, well, come to Vegas. You can box. So I was just using it as an excuse to get out of Boston. And when I got here, when I got to Vegas, I was like, I was kind of bull crapping about it. But I don't know, I fell in love with it. I really, kind of embraced the sport, and it changed my life after that, definitely.
In what ways? What did you learn? Or I suppose, if I ask it in a different way, what was the biggest change that you saw in yourself once you started training to be a boxer?
Well, like Hasim said, the boxing ring is a truth serum. So the things that I doubted about myself, the things that I didn't know about myself, they all came out in the ring.
Right.
How much willpower I had, how much pain I could take, what could I do, how much power did I have, how much, mental fortitude that I have to really get past those things. How much what was my strategy like when I got in the ring, and it changed my life as far as how I think when I'm playing a game, how I think when I'm trying to keep the Quran, all of that. It all gave me more discipline to my life. So that's why I really fell in love with it. And of course, after that, I was like, I gotta beat his record, So that's there you go. Especially with him being my coach. He's not that brother that's like jealous of my accomplishments. He's the brother that's like, I want you to be better than me. He tells me, I want you to be better than me. I want you to do what I couldn't do, and I want you to do what I should have done. So.
How was it for you? Obviously, you had an illustrious heavyweight career. What weight class are you in?
Heavyweight.
You're a heavyweight class.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because you're both in the same weight class, but obviously your statures are very different. Even when you were fighting, you were still a big guy, right? So what's the kind of the difference between being a big heavyweight compared to someone who's a bit more lean? And again, it's a bit like the whole Ruiz Joshua thing, right? You know, one guy's a bigger guy, one guy's a slim guy. What's the difference? What does he need to focus on as a heavyweight of his stature?
He needs to, first of all, he's strong. So the punching power is not a problem. But he can do what heavyweights don't like to do, and which is he got the power of a heavyweight in the movement and the elusiveness of a light heavyweight. So when you bring that mix, almost like a David Haye.
Right. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
David Haye was like
You're right.
punch.
Yeah.
You know, he's a small guy, but he could punch with the
They
best
came
of
up
them.
from cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Punch with the best of them, but can move, and that's where you get heavyweights. Most heavyweights are lazy. They don't like the one. You just want to stand there. You hit me, I hit you. You hit me like Neanderthal. You know, just I'm gonna hit you. You hit me. Who can take it? And who can knock each other out? That's my thing. I like to do that.
Yeah.
But if I got a guy who can hit me, move, he on this side of me, on that side of me. You know, he got good lateral movement. That's sickening to me.
Ali-esque almost, right?
Right. So that's the type of fighter he's going to be. You know, he can punch. He can punch. He can fight orthodox. He can fight southpaw. He can knock you out with either hand. But that movement, the leg movement, the in and out, the lateral movement, you know, just that's a frustrating style.
Right.
But if you can punch with it, it's pleasing for the fans. You know, because they're not going to see him just come right out, lock up, and just bang. What they will see is a defensive-minded puncher. You know, where he hitting you and you not necessarily hitting him. So I almost wish not necessarily stick and move, but beat you up, move. Beat you up, move. You know, but you know, I'm actually rather excited to watch his progress and watch him. Like what you're gonna see with Mike Hunter, you're gonna pretty much see this a lot like how he fights. You know, and I like my fighters to have 2, 3, 4 different styles. You know, 2, 3, 4, 5 different game plans. Where he already know what I want him to do. He know what, you know, all right, okay, well let's do this. I can say a key word and he already feel it. He already know what I want him to do.
Right. So, okay. So is that what you're now doing as a and is this what coaches do? Like you're in the ring, and it's almost like you're playing PlayStation where you're like X, you know, and you're like, all right, cool, I need to. You know what I'm saying? I need. Okay, that's a straight cut. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, and the good thing about it is our team. We like one unit. So he spars with Michael Hunter. He spars with my son. They all help each other. You know, they all like. It's like one. They want success for each other. There's no jealousies, no animosity. It's like we all on the same accord,
one mission.
Same mission.
But also another thing, he's better than PlayStation. He's kind of like the programming. You know, you already know what you can do. He's programming us. With PlayStation, if you stop saying next, then the fighter's not going to say X anymore. He's not going to do anything. He has it where, okay, I'm going to put this controller down and the fighter's still going to do what it's going to do because he's programming us while we're training to know exactly. If he doesn't have to say anything, then, you know, that's even better for us. We don't have to really wait for him to hear or something. Sometimes you might not be able to hear him. Sometimes you got to think on your own. And if he's teaching me how to think like him, well, do this or you know, kind of switch up the game plan in there, you know, you could talk about it after, but inside, you never know what the circumstances are.
So it's like the gym is where you build those instincts.
Absolutely.
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's not the gym. Okay. It's got to be a mindset.
Okay.
Period. You know, like oftentimes him and I, we together a lot. And it's not the gym, and it's just about his mind. I'm always just trying to put it in his mind.
Okay.
Like I'm just trying to make him mean it, because he's naturally a nice guy. Like he's a nice guy. But I don't want that to translate into the ring. You know, so it's like I gotta do work. Like I gotta kind of deprogram a lot of his niceness and try to reprogram a lot of mean stuff. So I'm always on him. I'm always talking to some mean stuff or whatever. And he think I'm always picking on him. But it's not picking on him. I'm actually just trying to get him a little meaner, because I never want the nice Muhsin to be in the ring and the nice guy kick in. You can be as humble and as nice as you want to be outside the ring. But just know that when it's a switch, it's a switch. So I'm always constantly, it's not about just the gym. I'm always trying to instill in him, like, all right, let me just get a little meaner. You know, I love to see him a little meaner.
I remember, because I used to do boxing quite a lot for about 3 or 4 years. And
well, I thought you said this was going to be 45 minutes. How long was it?
Yo, we could.
How long was it going to be?
No, sorry, but if you want to stop, I thought you
No,
were.
I mean, go ahead. But I'm just saying, that's, I mean, you know.
No, we'll wrap it up in the next like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, bro. I didn't. I thought we were just into it, but so cool. All right. So let's talk about the event then, right?
Let's do it.
Cool. So you've got Michael Hunter versus Povetkin. I shouldn't have gone down that. He started to, I need to be mean now. He's like, stop this interview now.
You gotta be mean.
You made me mean. He reported the mean out of me.
We go. So we got Michael Hunter versus Povetkin, right? Povetkin is someone who is a big name. He's a very, very big name heavyweight fighter.
Right.
What's your thoughts on the fight? What's your pre-fight analysis? How do you think things are going to go?
I think Mike will really put on a boxing clinic. I think with our team, boxing IQ collectively, I don't think there's nobody can match it. You know, I just think the way we strategize, the way we come up with plans for each and every fighter, they're always different. And Mike is going to get his boy a clinic. It's going to be a boxing clinic. We're going to beat him every round and then stop him in probably 7, 8, or 9.
So the plan is to soften him up, get him soft, and then take his head off in the 7th.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we get an opportunity to take him on the first, we'll do that. Yeah. So we're not going to stick to the game plan like, okay, soften him or something. If we see, we're going to strike when the first available opportunity. So and Povetkin is a heck of a fighter, and Michael Hunter went to the Olympics, but he didn't get gold. So I tell Mike, this is your gold medal fight. So just to give him that much more motivation. Yeah. Like Povetkin won gold. This is your gold medal fight, champ. And then we fighting for the title. So you can go ahead and, you know, I don't like to pick on the birds, but we can kill 2 of these birds with 1 stone. So let's do it.
So your hope is after this fight, someone like Dillian White, or is there anybody else that you've got your eye on that you want?
We just want a title next. Okay. This is a mandatory. This is an eliminator. The winner of this fight going to be in line for a major title. But like I said, Dillian White, if you want it, you can get it. I'm sure you don't want it, so I don't want to keep going down the street. But we would love to fight Dillian White in England. No, we don't need him in America. We will fight him in England. We can do
your hometown.
Yeah, we can do Wembley. We can do wherever you want.
O2 Arena.
Wherever. O2, O3. Wherever he wants.
So just to kind of wrap things up on this podcast, as we've mentioned, obviously throughout this, the headline fight is Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua, and like I said, there's a lot of parallels between, you know, your career and both the fighters that they can take from this, right? Andy Ruiz is in a similar position to yourself, where everybody underestimated him before going in, and he won, and he's got the belts. Now he's going in for this rematch, right? And you've got Anthony Joshua, who's almost the same as Lennox Lewis, where he picked Andy Ruiz. He didn't do his research or whatever it might have been. He picked Andy Ruiz, and the style was completely wrong for him. Now, a lot of people are writing Anthony Joshua off, even in England. Others are just saying it's 50-50. But no one is actually saying that AJ is going to win, definitely. Or Andy Ruiz is going to win, definitely. What's, I suppose, your prediction for the fight? How do you see that fight going?
It's a problem because Michael Hunter and Andy Ruiz were sparring, so I know where Andy is right now, but I don't know where Joshua is.
Yeah.
So it would be foolish for me to just give a prediction because I never know what kind of style AJ is coming out with. But I can say this: if he comes out and try to fight anything like he did last time, it's gonna be the same result.
Okay.
If he comes out and try to box and move and use his height and distance and reach, I give him a shot to maybe possibly outbox him. But he gotta stay away because if Andy gets to hit him, it's a knockout.
And is this? I suppose the last question that I want to ask you is this? Do you think that Andy Ruiz has a hard chin because this is heavyweight boxing? Someone can get punched, that's it, right? Do you think Andy Ruiz has a chin on him that can take an AJ punch? Do you think AJ's got a chin that can take a Ruiz punch?
I do think Andy can take AJ's punch. Not so sure that Anthony can take Ruiz shots. That's why he has to keep the distance and not get into a slugfest with Andy. Andy would love nothing more than a slugfest.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been in camp with Ruiz, and him and Michael Hunter been sparring. So I pretty much know Andy's ready.
What about you, Muhsin? What are your thoughts on it?
I'll say the same thing. You can't really say what Joshua's going to do. Like you said, I've been in there to see what Andy can do. I know he's in shape, so we'll just see, what Joshua comes out.
Yeah, it's kind of ignorant for somebody to kind of make a prediction, not really knowing what adjustments Joshua's made. So.
And he has said that one thing he specifically said is, I've changed my style.
That's even more reason why we really can't predict. Like who knows? His style may be suicide for him, or it might be the best thing since sliced cheese.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Absolutely. Hasim Rahman Muhsin
Cason.
Let me start again. Hasim Rahman Muhsin Cason. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor and a privilege to be sat next to you. Like I said, I remember watching you on my TV, knocking Lennox Lewis out.
That's right.
And now I'm sat next to you.
And the thing about it is, you might get to see it again if one of these guys take us up on the offer.
100%. 100%.
Right, let's get it.
Yo, make sure you do that for me now, right?
Let's get it.
So let's get it, guys. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Hit these guys up on their social media. You heard him, right? I'm gonna get him on you now.
Subscribe, I'm coming to see you. I'm not real hard on that door.
And he's coming to England as well to fight Dillian, so that's gonna happen. But anyways, listen, I've taken up too much of your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
Appreciate you.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks so much, brothers.
Man, how long was that?
Probably about an hour and a half.